Hey guys, Joel Breidenball here. Thanks for joining me on this Theology Thursday. If you haven't seen the Witnessing Wednesday video on Jehovah's Witnesses and witnessing to them yet, take a look and give me some feedback. On Finance Friday, I'll deal with the issue of insurance. But on Theology Thursday, I want to talk to you about sin. So sin came into the world through Genesis 3 and the fall of Adam and the deception of Eve, and just has affected every area of our lives since then, socially, emotionally, sexually, physically, mentally, spiritually, and more. Every single area of our lives has been affected by it. As a matter of fact, Genesis 6:5, when God looks at us, and this is before the flood, it says he saw that the intentions of our hearts were only evil continually. And that doesn't change after the flood. There's still great wickedness. The Bible says in Romans 3, there is none good, no, not one. There's none that seek after God. You say, what about believers? Well, those are those who've received God's grace and begin to seek after him. He's talking about apart from God's grace, seeking God on their own. There's none there. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. And where sin in the world, all sinned. Death also entered the world, Romans 5:12. And it says in Ephesians 2 that we're all dead in our trespasses and sins. So the Bible doesn't paint a very good picture of us. Sometimes Christians and lost people think too highly of themselves and think, well, we're really not that bad. We just need a little bit of help and a little bit of understanding to be saved. The Bible makes it very clear we are completely depraved, totally depraved. Every area of our lives has been affected. Doesn't mean you're as bad as you could be, but every area of your life has been affected due to the fall and because of sin. And we're good at sinning on our own. It wasn't just Adam and Eve and their sin being imputed to us, or even us inheriting their sin. We're really good at sinning on our own. If you don't believe that, just watch any 1 or 2 year old, and they're quick to point out when they've made a mistake and blame someone else, a sibling or even the dog. You don't have to teach a kid how to lie or how to shift the blame. It comes naturally for us because of our sin nature. So the Bible doesn't say a lot good about us, but the Bible does say a lot of good about God and about his grace and why we're so dependent on him. Sin affects us. We are spiritually blind, 2 Corinthians 4. We're spiritually lost, Luke chapter 15. We're spiritually dead, Ephesians 2 and Romans 5. So there's just not a lot in us. We are completely affected by sin, which is why we are completely dependent upon the Lord to do a great work in us by his grace to bring us salvation. And that comes only through what God's done for us in Jesus on the cross, as we turn from that sin and trust in him and have our eyes open to what our sin condition really is and how it's against a holy God, a God who could judge us at any moment in our sin and yet is gracious and merciful and patient with us. But that's our sin nature. And so think about that and think about the greatness of God and the grace of God and why we ought to depend on him. I hope that's helpful for you. Feel free to shoot me any comments, and I'll look forward to responding. God bless.